The Mets showed up with Justin Verlander on the bump, and guess what? The Mets got Framberized. A near-perfect outing for him. The offense gives support, and Ryan Presley doesn't blow a save. Let's talk about this on tonight's Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Bierling's back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. I don't know where Brett is. I think he's walking around with a backpack for some reason. So, Brett, where can they find you when they're not walking around with a backpack?
Well, I was looking for the Astros, and I found them. That's right. I went on a little trip today and went on a little trek to look for the boys, and they showed up. They were here at the ballpark, so I didn't have to go very far. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
Guys, even when we do corny stuff, thank you for making us your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, become an everydayer, become when I forget to turn a light on. Thank you for just being every day or somebody that listens to our podcast every day and on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, and make us your first listen on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So if you would have told us yesterday, before or after yesterday's show, that the Astros get a win today versus Justin Verlander, I don't think anybody could have said the word guarantee. I think everybody was a little bit negative after yesterday's game, and there's a lot of reasons why, because even Mets fans came into our podcast and said, what are y'all crying about? The Mets are a terrible team. But if you look at what we saw today, we saw more of what we expected to see for the Houston Astros. And I was doing the Relevant podcast, and I'm like, you know what? The Astros need to do Framber Valdez just needs to come out and outduel Justin Verlander, and this may get the momentum going. But what we saw today here, Brett, was we saw the whole team for the first time in a long time come together behind a pitcher to support him. Yes, it was an almost perfect game, and Framber Valdez, he knew it. He was so pissed off when he lost it. But there's just so much that happened good in this game. We'll talk about the offense. We broke the losing streak. I need to go fix that. But Diaz is batting fourth. I put losing streak, but I'll go and fix that right now. The Astros also beat Justin Verlander, which is a big deal. And then we'll look at the Game 3 preview.
Yeah, definitely. Look, this game was just what the doctor ordered. And we said today either they were going to do really well against Justin Verlander or they were going to get no hit. Well, it was Framber who took a perfect game into the sixth inning before Chandler Rome ruined it and jinxed it. And
it wasn't Brian McTaggart this time.
No, but right after he tweeted that, they got a single. Thank you, Chandler Rome. You awesome guy. No, but for real, the Framber was dealing, dude. His curveball was absolutely astounding. It was missing bats. It was staying out of the zone. I mean, he was getting calls on the edges because those pitches were very hard to tell whether they were strikes or not. And he just kept the Mets off balance. And the Astros countered with putting up a crooked number early. You know, Alex Bregman, for the first time in his career, hit a home run off of a 3-0 count. He had never hit a home run. He had hit maybe a double or two, but had kind of basically, marginal success, pedestrian success. And for him to take Verlander 3-0 deep, I bet you Verlander was not too happy about the outcome of that. But Julks got hits. You had Maldonado got 3 hits today. They'll probably bench him because he hit well.
Stop.
It's just, well, I mean, that's just what it
I
is. Get a 4-hit game, you sit the bench because it's a scheduled off day. But I posted my lineup earlier, what I think the lineup should be most days. And you've got to have the guys in there that are in there. And when they're in there, they have to perform. And Alex Bregman absolutely performed today. Eric, I mean, to wrap the game up, defense did what they were supposed to do. The pitching held the line, and you scored enough runs to beat the other team. You don't have to score 20 runs. You just score more than the other guys, and they did an excellent job with that.
I know that Framber Valdez did allow the 2 runs to score, but I would say that overall, just throughout the whole game, this was the best I've seen him with his control. Like you talked about, he was able to just he was getting the Mets hitters to just swing at balls that are way out of strike zone, and it looked like I was just sitting there just marveling at his pitching. And yes, he got a little bit frustrated after he gave up that hit to Mark Canha, and it's like, of all the people, why him? But he was so frustrated because he knew exactly what was going on. And so, but he had 19 swing and misses today, and overall throughout the whole game, he was dominating, and he had 8 innings, 4 hits, 9 strikeouts, lowering his ERA 2.27. Finally got a win. It's been a while since he got a win, and he was just dominating this whole game. And yes, he allowed the 2 runs, but I think at the end, maybe they figured him out. Maybe he was just frustrated, but he kept on allowing the singles and everything. But I'm not worried about those 2 runs.
Well, his pitch location wasn't there.
Right.
On those 2 runs he gave up, he
just like our Top Golf. Remember at the beginning we were so good, and then towards the end, once we got a little bit tired, we weren't so good.
Right. No. Yeah. And I think I said I used the word curveball. Yes, I believe it was his cutter that he was throwing. So that's what I was trying to go back and look at Baseball Savant on his actual splits of what he threw. And look, Framber has this ability. We know what kind of pitcher he is. We know what kind of quality this guy can deal. And he was absolutely dealing today. The Mets just didn't have an answer. I mean, you talk about night and day, game 1 to game 2. I mean, you had 5 or 6 Mets with multi-hit games. Of course, I know it's Hunter Brown. I know you're comparing him to Valdez, but Brown, when he's on, he's on. When he's missing bats, he's missing bats, and that just didn't happen yesterday. And so you love seeing Framber go out there like you mentioned, 19 swings and misses. That's huge, Eric. His top pitch was 97.7 miles an hour, and he had 5 pitches at 97 miles per hour plus. So you love to see that. You love to see the fact that Framber Valdez is able to go out there and deal, and you love seeing the bats back him up, like I mentioned earlier.
So I have a question. I know that we were talking about it, me and Brandon, but he finished with 94 pitches. In this day of age where, because of the pitch clock or whatever, you don't see a lot of complete games anymore. Do you give Framber Valdez the chance to go out there and try to get the 9th inning at 94 pitches, because we've seen him throw 110, 120 pitches, or because he had the 8th inning where he gave up the 2 runs, he wasn't really himself, and maybe it was just time to yank him at that point?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a good move. I was wondering leaving him out there after that first hit. I mean, they didn't have anybody warm. Obviously, that's why they didn't remove him from the mound earlier. He just looked like he was getting more, vulnerable, and just with his mindset and with the past that we know he's dealt with different things, he probably wouldn't have unraveled. But you're not leading by a whole lot, and you failed to get the insurance runs. You would have liked to get the insurance runs in the bottom of the 8th. So right then, that was like, yeah, definitely no, that's a no-go. I thought that was a smart move. Framber's one of your big horses. You're dealing with so many injuries. You're going to go in, and this is where you're going to count on Presley, guys like this, to do what they're supposed to do and get paid to do. and it turned out to be the right move.
Yeah, speaking of smart moves, Dusty Baker made a smart move to the lineup. We'll talk about that. The Astros break their losing streak. What does this mean for the future? We'll talk about this in soon, but this episode is brought to you by Game Time.
That's right. Game Time is an amazing app. Let me tell you, 2 clicks and you're there. You don't have to fumble through your email and look for, oh my gosh, where the tickets go, or wonder when they're going to be delivered. And you don't even have to plan in advance. So, like, if you're going to go to the July 4th game, right, you can literally wait until July 4th. Now, you may want to get them now just because it's probably a high demand game. But if you wanted to wait till last minute, I promise you they'll have the lowest prices. And for Locked On Astros listeners, they have a special right now. You use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Now, when you go purchase your tickets, whether you're going to a baseball game, whether you're going to a play, whether you're going to Broadway or whatever it is, a comedy club, if you find a ticket in the same section, in the same row, at a lower price on a different ticket site, they will refund you 110% the difference. That means they'll put money back in your pocket to ensure that you still have money to go to that next event that you want to attend. So if you're checking out the Astros, whether when they're here in town tomorrow, the 110 game, or when it's later on the road, check out Game Time. It is an easy-to-use app. They are the lowest prices online, guaranteed. And the Astros play the Mets on Wednesday, 1:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros.
Hey, Brett, I don't know if you heard, but we don't suck anymore. The Astros are winners. Yay. So it was definitely
winning solves everything, right?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter what happened the previous days. We don't care about that. It just matters about what they're doing now. So what I think here is the fact that Justin Verlander was in town and you're able to put on 8 hits against him and score 4 runs against him. And that run by that extra insurance run by Altuve was huge, especially once they scored the 2 runs. And so he did have 5 strikeouts. His stuff wasn't great. You see Martin Maldonado kind of hit the curveball today. And you saw a lot of Astros get some good swings on him. I mean, 8 hits off of Justin Verlander. They haven't faced him since 2017, right before they traded for him. But this was a great overall game. We'll talk about Yainer Diaz in a second. But Corey Julks had a double down the line in the first inning or second inning, one of those 2 innings. But but the best one was his little excuse me single where he just kind of hit into the dirt and it just kind of went to third base. But overall, a great offensive output. I mean, not enough runs, but you're facing Justin Verlander. He doesn't have the stuff that he had, but he still knows how to pitch. He still knows how to get out. And we saw that. The Astros were able to get 3 runs in the 3rd inning, mostly because of Alex Bregman's home run, which was a big blast at that time. And like you said, off on a 3-0 count, his first in his career. And it's those moments that you need your stars to shine out, like Altuve get that clutch hit in the 8th and the 7th inning to get that insurance run. So
right,
that's what you need your stars to do.
Well, Eric, and if you recall, whenever Justin Verlander came here, one of the first things he said was, I'm glad I'm on Jose Altuve's team because he tends to hit me really well. And so I thought that was great that Altuve got that hit towards the end. And, I mean, the Mets just had to be like, oh, come on, man. Verlander's like, geez, Louise, this guy, because before that, he hadn't gotten a hit. So he gets that hit late in the game, like you mentioned. Kyle Tucker was 0 for 4 today. Jake Myers was 0 for 4, but you had Corey Julks with a multi-hit game, Yainer Diaz with the multi-hit game. Eric, this guy, let me tell you something. Yainer Diaz, you got to compare him to another rookie, and for it to be fair, you got to compare him to Gunnar Henderson. And I don't know if you saw this during the broadcast, but I was looking at these numbers. So since May 31st, okay, Gunnar Henderson, 333, OPS 102, 1.029, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs, WRC plus 186.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Yainer Diaz, 340, 1.086 OPS, 5 home runs, 9 RBI, 193 WRC plus.
Yeah.
Do we need to email this to whom it may concern in the Astros clubhouse to get this kid more at bats? You're in the
Teacher, can I
Astros?
say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
He batted fourth today. Dusty Baker must be listening to the Locked On Astros podcast. Well, Brett thinks that we need to start him more. Eric thinks that he needs to be more up in the lineup, and he's batted cleanup. So you're talking about a rookie batting cleanup ahead of Jose Abreu. This is not a Dusty Baker move. This is a bold statement for him, and I applaud this. And this is not something he would probably do in past, but this just shows what Yainer Diaz has been doing recently. He's been hitting the home runs, X and right, left and right, and just he showed the trust today. He had 2 singles today. He didn't have the home runs like he's been having, but his batting average is up to 280. His OPS is up to 804. That is legit numbers for somebody who is your DH, but who could be your starting catcher, because your starting catcher is batting like 125 this month.
So this is how I'd structure the lineup, and tell me what you think about this. Someone was asking me why I put McCormick over Julks, and I'll explain that here in a second. Altuve leading off, Pena second, Bregman third. That's your top 3. Tucker fourth, Diaz fifth. I have Diaz catching, Dubon DH, Abreu first, all the way down in the 7 hole, Myers center field, McCormick left. Now you can interchange McCormick or Julks in there, but McCormick's been hitting the ball really well. Someone is saying Julks' numbers lately are probably better than McCormick, but I'm just going seniority here over this and being able to bring him off the bench. Julks can play some third base as well, so he can play a little bit different positions. But I would love Diaz as catcher. I would love him as high as right under Tucker, in between Tucker and Dubon. You realize how, because look, you put guys on base, Bregman and Tucker in front of him. If Tucker can get on base, dude, I mean, look, this is a good lineup, and this is without Yordan Alvarez, and this is without Michael Brantley. We got to talk about the Michael Brantley stuff, because one of our friends,
third segment,
one of our friends mentioned to us, and if you are at the game, you probably saw it. There's some interesting pregame stuff going on with Mr. Brantley. Some good stuff.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it in a second, but I'm a little worried about the fact that Jake Myers, I know that we are all aboard the Jake Myers train early in the season because he was performing and he was playing some great defense out there, but he's in a 0 for 21 slump right now.
Yeah.
And it's not even looking – he's not even giving us competitive at bats. And it seems like every time there's runners in scoring positions, I don't know what he did today, but it just
Jake Myers was 0 for 4 today.
No, I know, but with runners in scoring position, that's what I meant. But it just seemed like every time he was up, there was like runners at second and third, and it was like strikeout, pop up, and it's just like
no, and that's why I think a lot of people are like, why isn't McCormick in there? You know what's interesting? You didn't have Dubon. And you could, I know Dubon, everybody doesn't like Dubon in center field, but you could have put him in center field.
I think Dubon should be playing center field. If you want your best lineup, if you're going to take Maldonado out of the lineup, then put Doobie out there. You don't want
you think Dubon's a better center fielder than Jake Myers?
No, but he's a better hitter. You need somebody that makes contact when your offense is struggling.
Okay. I'm checking with you now. Okay.
No,
all right.
No, I think that Jake Myers and Chas McCormick are the better defenders. I think that Dusty Baker believes that Dubon has a better arm out there, but because remember, Justin Verlander's personal center fielder. But overall, I think that you need to get Dubon in there because he can put the bat to the ball. He can make contact. And when you make contact, things happen. Jose Abreu, he did get a hit today. He had that line drive that basically took the third baseman's glove off, but he's also had 3 strikeouts. And it's hard to make contact when you're striking out. And so that's what so after that hot little mini stretch he had, he's kind of slumping as well. So,
well, I think it's the ebb and the flow of the baseball season. I mean, who hasn't been slumping lately? I mean, this whole team has been scrapping across, wins and losses. And it's just one of those things where it makes you wonder, like, where are you going to go when you're stressed out, but you definitely know you want to watch the Astros with some buddies? Well, you need to go to Hooters. And look, today, Eric and I were over at Hooters of Pearland, and the manager there, Megan, is phenomenal. The waitresses are there to serve you. They're there to make you happy. I mean, the food is great. The wings, the beer, whatever they have on tap. Like, I had the special today, the burger and fries for $9.99, and it was phenomenal. I mean, really, it wasn't just some run-of-the-mill hamburger. And no matter where you are, from Sugar Land to Seabrook, from Pasadena to Galveston, from Stafford to Katy, anywhere in Houston, you can find a local Hooters. Check it out. Now, speaking of the Pearland Hooters, they're going to have a 3-on-3 basketball tournament on June 24th. So get your buddies together and head to Hooters and sign up today and every day during the week, Monday through Friday, 2 to 7. They have happy hour and 10 p.m. to close. You can join them anytime for $3 Blue Moon drafts. I had one of those today, 99 Michelob Ultra pitchers. No matter the occasion, Hooters is ready to make you happy, whether you're dining in, ordering online, carrying out, whatever it is. You definitely want to make sure you check out your local Hooters. Tell them that the guys from Locked On Astros sent you. It's a great place to go. And the Astros play the Mets again for the final game of the series to hopefully win the series Wednesday, 1:10 Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch. The Astros hometown broadcast with Sirius XM and the SXM app. Search Astros.
Hello? Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe. Hey, Brett, I'm on the phone with the agent for Will Myers. He was DFA'd by the Reds today. He's got a 189 batting average this year with 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. His OPS plus is 44. His OPS is 541. He wants to know if the Astros would be interested in the outfielder, first baseman. He could play third base as well.
No, we're not interested.
Is it like a rude hang up, or is it I'll get back to you?
Oh no, just hang up. Like, I don't even know why we're entertaining that. Like, okay. He's terrible. Tell him Brett said he's not good enough to be on this team. We already have enough problems on this team offensively.
That's what you tell the agent. Okay.
Like, if you're not Yordan Alvarez coming off the IL, I don't want to hear it. Will Myers, sorry, I'll pass. I mean, look, great players, got a good history. I mean, look, I thought about it today because you sent me the message. You told me something about it. I saw it. I was like, man, I don't know. Do we need another mid guy? I mean, what are we doing here, right? I mean, now if he can get hot and if he can hit and he can perform, well, yeah, bring him on. But I don't know. I just, speaking of phone calls, can we have McCann call? Exactly.
Can he just become the hitting coach? So in all seriousness, Brett, at some point, if the offense continues to struggle, do you have to look at Alex Centrone and Snicker and say, is there something up here? Because you have these all-stars, these guys that have hit their entire career, and all of a sudden they forget how to hit.
But see, and I always go back to this. Nobody wants to fire the hitting coach when they're hitting. But when the same player is not hitting in the slump, it's not the player's fault. It's the hitting coach's fault. That doesn't make sense to me. They've been making adjustments all year. Right. The adjustments, think about the adjustment they made with Dubon. Think about the adjustment they made with Myers. Think about the adjustments over the years they've made with the adjustment they made with, Kyle Tucker before. Look, these guys have made adjustments with the current hitters we have.
They're just
and it's worked out. I just don't like this. I don't like this knee jerk. Oh, they just need to be fired. Like, even on Houston radio, maybe we need to fire Dusty. Look, and I know there are some cockamamie things and some weird decisions being made that don't make baseball sense and blah, blah, blah. But firing a hitting coach in the middle of the season, okay, who are you going to hire? You going to hire Jeff Bagwell? You already hate him. I mean, who do you want? You going to go get somebody at the local Walmart, like Amazon? Do they have like instant batting coaches? You going to buy VCR tapes or DVDs to show guys how to hit the ball? Like, what's the answer? People always want to bring problems, but they don't have any solutions.
Yeah.
I don't like that philosophy. So that's a hard no for me. You don't fire coaches in the middle of the season. Now, maybe a manager, if he's out of hand, like Joe Madden, someone like that. They're not going to fire Dusty, so y'all can quit with that pipe dream. They're not going to fire Cintrone or Snitker. The team that won the World Series last year, the team that turned Jeremy Pena around, yeah, no, sorry, that's just not it. I get it, Eric, and I hear the calls for it. For me personally, I'm like, no.
Okay. So back to being positive, because the Astros did win after a.
I'm positive, and I'm positive. I hate the idea of firing hitting coaches in the middle of the season, but
it does happen. I mean, if your team is struggling, I mean, that's something that's a kind of easy thing to do, and so it's something to kind of jumpstart the offense and maybe a new philosophy.
Or maybe Dusty needs to be fined for sitting Altuve after going 4 for 4.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. So we can kind of go and start looking at tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's game is probably going to be a packed crowd because they're giving away the what you say, Alex Bregman World Series rings. So it's going to be a big crowd tomorrow. A lot of people are going to be going, from what I understand. It's going to be, what's his name, Tyler? Yeah, Tyler McGill.
You're like, who is this guy? Who's this?
No, I know he is.
They got on the mound.
It's kind of like with the former Dodgers pitcher, like you know how he had two different names in Houston. I'm like,
yes.
So that's where I was going with that.
I know, I'm giving you a hard time.
So he's 6-4 on the season with a 4.83 ERA and 14 games started. Yes. He's got 56 strikeouts and 69 innings pitched. His WHIP is 1.61. So I'm not saying it should be an easy game, but it should be one the Astros should do pretty well. His last start was pretty good against the Cardinals. 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, only 4 hits allowed. He got the win in that game, 1 earned run. So, but then they won before that. The Pirates shelled him for 7 runs and 3.2 innings pitched. And so we'll have to see what happens. But I think all eyes are going to be on Christian Javier, because he's 7-1 with a 2.90 ERA, 76 strikeouts. And after what Framber Valdez almost did, wouldn't you know that who would follow him? Javier. And Javier is somebody that can come in and do something just as dominant as Framber Valdez can do.
Well,
and so I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't put that past him.
Eric?
What?
I've got some breaking news.
What?
This just in. The Texas Rangers have been defeated by the Chicago White Sox, 7-6. The Texas Rangers have been defeated by the Chicago White Sox, and the Astros won the same day that the Rangers lost. Hey, we gained a little ground.
Not really breaking news. That was a little bit while ago, but okay.
Hey, it happened earlier. But we didn't. Did we announce it?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. See, Eric. See, y'all. Look, Eric likes to play with the hot buttons here, and he likes to think they're all keen. But then when I try to use them, it's no big deal. Whatever. It's all good. Look, I really hope that the Angels lose tonight. That would be great. Yeah, go ahead. Stop. Someone get those buttons away from this guy. He's out of control. And everybody is. I've got to address this before we go.
Okay.
Garrett Gilbert's not going to be the center fielder this year. Garrett Gilbert's not going to be at Minute Maid Park in 2023. We'll keep asking about him. He hasn't even gotten to AAA. He's kind of in a slump. He's been working through an elbow injury. They're not rushing him. Expect him mid to late season 2024. You will not see him before, period. It's not going to happen.
All right. So here is some breaking news. No, not really, but this is what Ryan Presley said after the game. Everybody was sick of me blowing games. All the way from the organization to fans to teammates to my friends, even myself. It's frustrating, especially when we go out there and put up the games we've been putting on and lose by 1 or 2 runs. But tonight, everything felt good. I could tell that he kind of looked a little bit nervous with that deep drive. He was like, oh no, here we go again.
He's like, you know what? I'm tired of blowing saves, guys. I think I'm going to get my crap together.
Yeah, I'm tired of like people in the even people in the front office are getting tired of my crap. So let me go and fix things.
Come on, guys, get out there and get a win. All right, hey, it's a great game, man. Good win. The Astros play the Mets Wednesday, 1:10. Go get your Alex Bregman ring if you can. If you can't, and you gotta listen to the game because you're at work, catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros.
And guys, thank you for subscribing to Locked On Astros podcast. Make us your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, please subscribe. 122 people here. Go and make it 200 next time. Let's go and spread the word and go and make us your first listen. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be talking about another Astros victory, because a victory is better than a defeat. That is something that only Eric can think of. We'll talk about that tomorrow, and go Astros.
Psych.